And we are live.
Are we live?
Good morning. That's what it says.
Good morning. I'm Carl Mingers. This is Aaron Burns. We are WRME Live. We are Main Edge. Okay. October 18th, episode 239.
Yes.
Just getting things rocking and rolling. Crazy stuff going on in real estate. Uh-oh, do we not have sound?
No, we do. I was just checking.
Hot dog.
We
got sound. Okay, a lot of things. We get a lot of people asking about the changes in real estate.
Yes.
That the news is saying, well, buyers, or sellers don't have to pay the buyer's commission and all that stuff anymore, which is, it's still pretty much the same that it was, no matter what the news says. Because a buyer is going to bring an offer to the table, and their agent, if they're worth their weight in oatmeal, is going to have a compensation agreement along with that, asking the seller to, what they're going to pay, or asking for how much they're going to pay, stuff like that. So it's just a lot more paperwork on our end. But as sellers, you need, as an agent, we need to sit down with the sellers and let them understand this is what's going to happen.
Yes.
And don't think that you can just get by with 3%.
And it's a little more detailed now on how it works.
Well, because there's legal ramifications to it now.
Well, a lot more.
A lot more, yeah. So that's the critical thing that's going on in real estate. The prices in real estate are getting out of hand. I mean, I don't know how. I can understand why the rental market is taking off, because people can't buy houses. I mean, it's just tough.
It's
okay.
hard.
It's not
impossible.
Most people that are in the house market have been planning for a while. They're working to get their down payment or down payment assistance or whatever. And don't get me started on this $25,000 promise from the Kamala Harris, because that would be a loan. That would not be free money, okay?
Nothing's free.
We just closed on a house this last month that we purchased. The seller thought he had so much equity, but he had got one of those government deals.
Yes.
And that had to come out with interest and all that stuff at the closing. So he came out about $20,000 short of what he thought he was going to get.
Because it's tacked on as a lien most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It's attached to the property, and a buyer can't buy it until that's cleaned up.
So it sits there. You never see it. You think it's not there. You think you have all this equity, and then when you go to close, it shows up as a lien. So it has to be cleared before you close. So you think you have 20, 30, whatever thousand more in equity than you really do.
I think the government does their job with the FHA program, the VA program, the farm loan programs,
USDA. Mm-hmm.
If you just stick with the basic programs, you're going to be okay. When you start getting into all those assistance and stuff like that, the paperwork and everything, the financing gets convoluted. It makes it more difficult. So anytime you can do a clean cut deal, buying it, it's going to be a far cleaner cut deal when you go to sell it.
And ask questions. No question is stupid.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's better to ask until you are 100% clear than get in a situation and be in trouble.
And if you don't understand it, there's a million acronyms in real estate.
Yes.
I had to explain MLS. I say, on the MLS, this is this. And this guy gets this blank look on his face, and I'm like, he goes, what's MLS mean? Okay, that's the multi-listing service. We're so used to acronyms, we tend to forget that everybody else in the world doesn't know these things. Kind of like working with the government. There's 1,000 acronyms. So if you don't quite get it, ask. Say something.
Or lender. We know some of them working with the lender, but we don't know all of them. So even we have to ask sometimes
what
you're talking about.
And then you go to closing and there's this new form. What is this one for? Okay, well, that's, either, you're a non-foreign buyer, or, this one has to do with the space shuttle launch, whatever. Yeah. There's just stuff in there that you really don't think about when buying a house, but you got to sign that paperwork to get your loan.
Yeah. And talking about loans and buyers. So, new forms with buyers. So, I know buyers, some are freaking out with this new stuff. Don't. Some stuff has changed, but we just have to talk about how your buyer's agent is getting paid up front. Which we did anyway. If you worked with me, I talked to you first and foremost when we started working together. That was one of the main things we talked about before we stepped and looked at a house. How you pay me. What you're looking for in a house, what kind of loan, all that good stuff is one of our first conversations.
The one good thing, absolutely good thing that comes out of this whole new rule is it forces the conversation.
Yes.
Okay, a lot of agents, they just assume everybody knows, and they skip that important conversation about compensation, and in that conversation about compensation, the responsibilities of each party and all that stuff.
Yes.
And really, if you're sitting down with an agent and you're doing something in 5 minutes, it's not a real conversation.
You can't have a conversation.
You
even about the house they want or properties. Because I talk about your wants, your needs, your have-tos. Everybody has to have certain things in a property. You got your wants that you may or may not need. But those things you have to have come forward for, you have to have those. We're going to find the property that meets your have-tos, your needs. Your wants, we may or may not find those. But we're going to keep looking until we find those needs.
Right.
That's just as important as how you guys are going to pay me. Because I don't work for free just like you guys don't. So those two things are the most important. And then how you're paying for it. That loan and how much you're qualified for. Not only how much you're qualified for, but what you're comfortable with your payments and what you can afford. Just because you're
and stay within what you can afford.
Just because you're approved for $250 doesn't mean you're comfortable with that payment on $250. You might only be comfortable with a payment in the $200 range. Then we're going to find you something in the $200 range. Yeah. Just because you're approved for X doesn't mean you need to buy within the X range.
Yeah, and it's very frustrating because a lot of times somebody buying a $200,000 house or that is qualified for that they can buy easily, they'll be looking at $225 and $250s. And there's a lot of difference in the house between $200 and $250 in the quality or the size or neighborhoods, stuff like that, and it's very frustrating. Because then, we might be getting this raise or we might be able to come up with this money.
But what if you don't?
How many of you have got a raise in the last year or two or three?
Well, I talk to people all the time. What happens if you get hurt on the job, somebody loses a job? Life happens. You need to be able to live long enough on one income or less of an income till you can find another job, sell and downsize or whatever.
We're not selling Aflac here. It's just the way it is. I
don't want you in a hard position where you're coming to me saying, I got to do a short sell or I need out ASAP because we're fixing to be foreclosed on. I don't want any of my previous sellers, clients coming to me in that situation. So I'd rather put you in a good home and us look a little longer in something you're comfortable with in case life happens than be in a bad situation. If life happens
and you do get in a pickle,
then you call
us.
The
sooner you start dealing with that, the easier it is to solve your problem.
And we are a judgment-free zone. We help people all the time in bad situations.
Because we see
life
people
happens.
Some of them are not so dire, but they are super stressed about it. And then some people are kind of lackadaisy, and they're in a bad way.
Hey, I've been divorced with a small child. I've been down and out in a bad situation. No judgment here. We don't do that. And we're not going to take advantage of you. So, no judgment here.
Yeah, no way. No 1-800-2-STEAL homes around here.
No.
Okay. Good news, the interest rates come down just a little bit.
Weedle.
Of course, we all expected this before the election. It depends on which way the election goes, what's going to happen there. But if the interest rates get back in the 5 to 6 range, I think we'll see more sellers then because, then they might be able to go buy something.
Yes.
right now, a seller, if they sell their house, finding something that they can afford that's, either an upgrade or whatever changes in life they're doing,
or just finding something right
is
now.
hard, right?
Because I've been looking forever.
Speaking of the election, we need to make sure everybody goes out and votes. And I really don't care which way you vote. Everybody that knows me knows which way I'm voting. But gotta vote. If you don't vote, you can't bitch about
all
stuff.
I ever say is do your research, and that's all.
Yep. Okay, we got a house hitting the market. Is it already
It's
hit?
already hit.
It's on the market.
It went like
508
yesterday.
South Morrison in El Reno. It's a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath. No matter
has
if the county
potential.
says it's 3-bedroom, it's not.
It's not. Been in it. Walked it. It's 2. If it
you know,
was 3, those were little bitty rooms back there. That's all I could say.
Right. Well, and it's just hard to find any kind of house under 100,000.
It's
And it'd be a good little starter home for somebody. It needs a
95K.
little bit of work. It won't go FHA,
no.
right?
I don't think
got
it
a little
will.
bit of peel and
Yeah.
paint, but it's a good little house. Great little neighborhood. Can we say that? No, but I did. So, all right. What else we got to talk about today? We're rambling on for 10.
Or it could be somebody if they're single, starter home, or
It'd be a good rental for somebody.
rental, or if you're downsizing, just out of college, whatever.
Got a brand new roof on it.
Yep.
So,
If you know anybody in a bad situation, like we were talking about earlier, contact us. We have a company that helps with that, Managed Solutions. So holler at us. Or they don't want to go the regular resale route for any reason. They don't want to fix up the home or whatever. Call us. We'll take a look. And
a lot of people
help
don't
them.
know about our commercial division.
Yes. We have
OKRE Commercial Advisors. Those guys, all they do is commercial. They won't come look at your house and talk to you about selling it. That's not their cup of tea. Great guys. They do a phenomenal job. That's it. So, if you need to get connected with them, just give us a holler. We'll,
land, ranch, whatever. So we cover it all. We're not just residential. So you'll know.
I kind of got my finger in a whole lot of stuff, Headed back to Florida today.
I'm jelly.
The Snapdragon.
That's why he's laughing at
That's
me.
my Snapdragon green shirt on.
Might
Snapdragon's been missing me.
I just might pop up Tuesday. You never know me.
All right, so I hope to shoot some video next week of that little trip. We got Snappy loaded up and ready to go back to Florida. So that's the Tinder.
That's
in case
the
you don't know.
troublemaker.
Yeah. All right. I guess we're
That's
about
it.
to wrap her up.
Yep.
Okay.
That's all we got now.
Well, folks, we are WRME Live. We're Main Edge, where we do real life, real world real estate every day. Give us a call. Thanks.
Bye.